point, and because that's basically another way I divinate without cards. So, and I think there was some really powerful energies that were coming through, and I just felt like it needed to be shared. On top of that, honestly, like my schedule, I do want to start having every Sunday in the morning, which is the best time for me for right now until organized sports start back up in spring. um, do a live and go through the downloads and hopefully have people who are on the chats to work through these energies together. So that is hopefully that as my intention, and I have high hopes that that's going to be what our tribe moves toward, is talking about this energy and really helping me work through some of the stuff that I don't like. I get little downloads on, but sometimes it takes months to get it fully formed. And I think that us working together could really help these energies get formalized a lot faster. And I mean, two brains are better than one, and two hearts are better than one. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would love to see y'all every Sunday, as much as possible that I can do it, to help share our combined knowledge, right? So, welcome. And so I have written them down. Hopefully, I'll remember them. I had them in my notes, but my other phone here isn't quite helping me out today. So I locked it. I forgot I changed the passcode, I guess. I mean, it's like that's a sign in itself of that confirms all the other downloads that I had which were like um, completely no movement, stopped, blocked, stuck energy, that it's just old. It's just worn its time. Or what, that's not the way I said. Its time is over. But here we are. We're still here, So, all right, bear with me since I don't have my I tried writing down as much as possible. So over the last couple weeks, I've been telling you guys in other readings that Cinderella energy has come back. It was a couple years ago that was hardcore in my space, but it came back pretty prevalent in the sense like every show I watched that had nothing to do with Cinderella, they mentioned Cinderella. Just everything. I mean, every time I went into a store, there was a Cinderella reference. I mean, it literally it got out of control, right? But it always started back in the day with me finding like just one shoe and going, what is this? I mean, it was like I saw one shoe everywhere. And what is that? The shoe usually comes in pairs, right? Like divine partners. But one shoe was always missing. And there was just one shoe left and discarded, really. It kind of almost felt discarded. And so there's a big meaning in that one too. If you are away from somebody right now that you truly find and know is your person and that you have deep feelings for, do you look at it as being discarded, or do you look at it as what is another way of looking at it? Actually, I don't know, just, finding its purpose in its own, like maybe finding its purpose with someone who, is healing from an injury on one foot. They only need one shoe, right? There's other purposes for that left shoe. So look at your time as still valuable and still purposeful, and I think that was just really it. don't always, I mean, being discarded sounds very lonely and sad. And um, I mean, I don't have, there's not much hope in that. So I think that's a sign for anyone who's going through a really rough time right now to the point is that yes, we're meant to have a pair, you know, like we're meant to have a divine person as our partner. But if that is not your situation right now, just understand you still give a purpose to someone, something, and it's just a matter of, you know, working toward all the signs that you get to what that purpose or person is, you know. So um but so that's been the energy lately. So that ties into this. But there was like 2 or 3 days, maybe even just one day. I know most of these came from just one day. It was the most powerful day, I thought. I mean, I was doing a million things separate of all these downloads, but these downloads would not stop. It's like I was just constantly thinking and thinking and thinking about it. Because all the signs, I think this is way high. Let me see. Oh, okay. Is that better? That way, I like that better so that you can actually see the table. Okay, so so one day I was getting in my car early in the morning because I needed to get going, and I had a big day. And I looked down, I have tennis shoes on, and I am one of those people who have to like just tie the shoe, and I take the shoe off. I don't untie the strings. And when I put them on, I do not tie them. Like I don't undo them. I never untie my shoelaces ever. And they have to basically come unraveled on their own, or, you know, like, so anyways, you know what I'm talking about. So to this day, and what's interesting is that these pair of shoes I had double knotted on both sides, and they had been that way forever. And this day I was getting into my car, and my right side shoe was coming unraveled from a double knot. I mean, a double knot is like secure. It's on there. Well, it was coming undone. It was already like loose. And then I didn't do anything about it because it wasn't like it was that, I mean, it wasn't going to fully it just kind of was more of a nuisance that my shoe was a little loose, right? But it wasn't enough to stop what I was doing and actually untie it and tie it again. And then, but I did take notice that it was my masculine side. It was a big deal. Like all I heard was, that's your masculine side. And your masculine energy, or someone's masculine energy, they are becoming unraveled with something that was tight and secure before, like a contract, a soul contract, with a person, place, or thing. But it was definitely coming unraveled. And then a few hours later, my feminine side shoe, which was double knotted, came untied. It was coming unraveled as well. And since I magnate to more feminine energy, I shook my foot. I mean, I went all into it and like tried dropping or letting that tie come completely undone, because there is one or two things that I'm like, I do not want this contract anymore. I am done with it. I do not want it at all again. Please come unraveled, like now. So I thought it was interesting because by the end of the day, it had really fully kind of become irritating to walk in. And it was, you know, so I actually undid it completely and then retied it. And then I did my masculine, my right side. So I thought that was interesting. That was a huge, huge message that the masculine was losing some sort of contract, and it therefore helped the feminine lose her contract and dissolve their contract. And so it really led me to understand that the masculine energy is action, 3D action. And so it really kind of took it that the 3D action has to be stopped before your, feminine energy, your belief system can stop the same thought process. It's almost like action creates change, right? We know that, but it's almost like who else also believes that your belief system is what powers you through anything and everything. Your belief system will get, like, your willpower to do something will move mountains. And I think that is, I kind of always pictured it before now that your willpower is what drives you. But it's in this instance, it was to stop something. Action has to be stopped before belief system can be stopped. So I thought that was interesting. It's almost very yin yang energy, because I've always thought it was the opposite. And here was a very clear energy that it wasn't. It was the opposite. You know what I mean? Anyway, there was that. And then that same day when I was driving, I saw this X in the sky by airplanes exhaust. And usually every time I see that, I'm always just like, X marks the spot. It's the perfect thing. It's like where you're supposed to be. It's what you're supposed to do. It's where you're at, where you're meant to be. That's always been like what I got from an X energy, whether on the ground, whether, seeing something like this on the ground, like it always was like, you're where you're meant, you're where you're supposed to be. Or there's treasure here. Look for the treasure in this moment. And I thought it was really interesting because when I saw this X in the sky, it wasn't that same old thought. Like, I actually tried thinking like, oh, X marks the spot, I'm in the right place. And then like, it just got wiped from me and was just like, no, this is so different. This is totally different. And I was like, I was really excited about that, because usually it takes a long time before new downloads come in like this. And first thing I thought was, well, the second plane that actually crossed the first line, they have to be going upwards, like up and away, because otherwise they would be going down really sharp, and that would be the end of that would be their demise. They would be not flying anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it was too close to ground to course correct. And so I just was like, okay, so this is up and away energy. Like, the sky is the limit. Go, go, go. And, but it also was, again, confirming like a blocked, because when you're, like, that means blocked. Even when someone has body language like this, you're sure as hell not being listened to. They're just like this is blocked energy. They do not want to hear what you're saying. And it may not be hardcore not wanting to listen to you, but there's a level of, I'm putting a distance between you and I. So there was that energy in this X, right? And then from that moment, from that drive, when I first saw that, then it felt like, it wasn't felt, it was. Every stoplight stopped. Every stop sign, I had to stop, because people were, taking their own liberties of, it was their turn. It wasn't my turn, which it would clearly had been my turn, but someone else decided it was their turn to go. So I had to stop and wait twice. It happened almost every single time. I'm not going to say every time because I did not take a little tisk and mark every single time down. But I'm going to tell you right now, I had gotten to a place where I was going 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, trying to calm down because it had happened so much that it was just ridiculous at a certain point. Like I just, oh, and then whenever I would be backing out of a a parking spot, I'd have to wait there for like, a minute because someone else decided it was their turn to go and they were much faster than I was. Or someone was coming down the row and thought, oh, even though she's halfway out, that still means I should go, right? Yeah, and go. And so I'd have to move back in. We've all been there. If you were a driver, we've all been there in that situation. And it had gotten like, so all of these situations had happened in one day. And I just sat there going, okay, like I said, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And what was interesting is that what Spirit really was trying to convey is that, did it stop you from getting where you needed to get to? And I was like, nope, it didn't. I still got to exactly the same spot as I needed to get to. And I wasn't late to anything. I just had to work through and transmute the patience and the frustration into patience. So that was transmuting really tense energy into carefree energy. So there's that. And you really have to do that with any time you're blocked, whether that's in hanged man energy where you're kind of just hanging on either someone else's energy, like for them to make a move, or if spiritually, if you're going through some sort of like download, trying to come up, trying to hear what you're hearing. Is it what you're hearing, or is it, that's hanged man energy, the tarot of the major arcana. And it's frustrating for someone who has a lot of like go, go, go energy in them. It's very frustrating. So I think that that message was just meant to be all around relating to patience when you are blocked or stuck in something or by someone or something like that. And what else? Okay, so that was the end of that part. But then what was interesting is that I, on that same day, or maybe it was the next day, but I'm pretty certain it was the same day, I had found myself doing, I'm not joking, probably 6 U-turns. I was driving a lot this day. I had to do 6 U-turns. I've never done 6 U-turns in a normal day worth of driving. I just thought it was interesting. Like at a certain point it was comical because I was like, why am I U-turning again? Like, how did it not, like, why is this happening again? Like my directions kept like driving me to a place that I'd had to U-turn. Like, oh God, man, I'm on the wrong side. Now I got to go back to the other side. And I thought it was really interesting because it had happened so many times and it just was something that you just hear over and over again. Like, what is this? What is this? And I laughed because one of my last U-turns before I was able to be done was I had to stop at a street and it was Prince Valiant. That was the street name. And the other one was First Street. And so when I looked up, it was First Prince Valiant. And first thing I heard was, is there a second? Is there a third Prince Valiant? Because insinuating that there's a first sure means there's a second, right? And So it just opened myself up to a really big download of that. Let me see. There is, if you are blocked from somebody or you are stuck and not with somebody that you want, or a project or a job, if you want something that you don't have right now, then there is this energy that just wanting to confirm for you. I think you already know this, but confirming that you're not meant to be in longing for for however long you have been longing. You're not meant to be longing. You're meant to be living. And so it's just confirmation that there is someone coming. And the energy I got whenever it like flooded over me, like this person or this project or this thing that is going to replace the first one, it's going to be amazing. It will take all your mindset, your longing energy away from that first thing, that first Prince Valiant. So, and this does not mean it's masculine, feminine. It's just, it's more in the sense of action. So I'm not only talking to feminine people right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm just talking, or females is my point. This relates to everyone who has a feminine energy and a masculine energy, which is everyone. But there's something that a masculine energy either is blocking or not doing or refusing to do or procrastinating on. And that is yours, could be yours, could be someone else's, but they are holding you back. And the point here is that you will not be held back. Maybe you'll be held back from that original masculine energy, but you will not be held back from having fun and enjoying yourself and living. There will be something coming in, or has already come in. This is a confirmation that it's okay to enjoy it. It really is. And I know that, just as being a feminine energy, and you can get yourself pretty stuck on your own by not living your life and not going out and doing something and just thinking, well, this Prince Valiant 1 is meant for me. So I'm going to hold tight and not, open myself up again. Because I'm certain. And then it's like, it took a long time for me to go, nah, nah. And that is what this energy is that do not hold yourself back from anything that is helping you continue to move forward, live your life, and make you feel happy and cared about. And the point is that people are sent into your life for certain things, and they lift you up for maybe even just a little short bit. Because I will say that there is some energy that for some of you, the second, Prince Valiant, you just need to use your discernment and just flow with it. And don't have some expectation that it's moving toward really long-term stuff. Just live in the moment. And you're not going to have a hard time doing this. That's what I'm trying to say. Whatever this is, whether it's a person, a new person, or a project that's really struck and you like, oh my God, you're going to want it. And it's going to feel good. It's almost like a heart, like resuscitation. And so if that's already happened to you, then just move with it. And if it hasn't yet, just know something's coming and you'll know it. Don't second guess it. Just live. No longing, just living. All right. And then whenever I was hearing, when I was asking about the first Prince Valiant, all I could see was circles. I just kept seeing like all these circles I just kept seeing all these circles. And then I heard that, it could be a contract that they are already in, which is interesting because that day it had started off with the shoelace where the contract is dissolving and unraveling. But nonetheless, they were or are in a contract, because rings and circles represent contracts or commitment or infinity, really. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the infinity, but it's close, right? So, and then the last thing was I heard the Post Malone song Circles. So I'm sure most people have heard it because it's been on the radio. But if you haven't, go listen to the song. It could have more of a meaning for you or help you in some way. But it's just called Circles. And there's a quote of the line that I heard was, "As seasons change, our love grows old. Want to run away, but we're running in circles." God, I'm terrible with lyrics, like completely. "As seasons change, our love grows cold. Want to run away, but we're running in circles." So I really feel like the this first Prince Valiant is either going through it with something that's just, what comes around goes around, chasing its own tail. What else? Like something over and over again. There's some that they're going through something that they are in a roundabout. They just don't, and that touches on one of the readings we last did for the moon, the new moon, I believe. It's just this going around and around and around and not changing anything, thinking that they're changing something, but it really always ends into the same circle, So, and then let's see. Okay, so so I guess that was the end of that energy. But I really thought it was interesting that they chose to use the shoelaces to drive in this download, because of the fact that I had already been like hearing and seeing the Cinderella energy with the one shoe for a very long time, and then they brought it back to the shoes. Something like when you put your shoes on and you tie them up and go, it means you're going, you're moving forward, you're doing something, one foot in front of the other. It's forward movement or backwards, either way, but either way it's movement, right? So it went kind of back to the Cinderella energy, and it leads me to the my favorite Cinderella show movie is Ever After, and it has Drew Barrymore in it. It is probably one of my top 5 movies that I could watch at any point, at any time. And I love that movie. And if you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth watching. And but I love, because at the end of that Cinderella, she doesn't need the prince to save her. She is perfectly capable and then some. And it was just the fact that she needed him to listen to her, to appreciate her, and to break down the hierarchy and the patriarchy that he was stuck and cemented in by birthright, But it didn't mean that was how it should move forward. If you just continue the same pattern, just like that circle energy, if you continue the same pattern as your ancestors and their ancestors, and up the line, Where's their growth? There is no growth. Every generation has to do something different than the one before. Granted, keeping some traditions could, that is sweet and it's got charm to it. But how about changing the tradition just a little bit and doing something that grows it into something more beautiful? Just doing something because someone else did it and someone else's dad did it and that is tired information. That is tired patterns. It's not meant to be that anymore. And so I think that was beautiful in that movie, that it was like she was just fine. And I'm not going to give away the story, but you'll see at the end that it's just a mentality that the masculine energy really sometimes needs to break out of. And by doing that, they have to use their own feminine energy too, in a healthy way, right? So, God, now I'm worried I gave away the ending. My friends always tell me I tell the ending, and I'm like, I don't. Now I'm terrified that I might have. Okay, anyway. Excuse me. There's two other downloads. I know we're at like 32 minutes, but this is how downloads work. It takes a long time. It takes situations for them to actually materialize and formulate and understand. And I know that you guys get downloads too. And that's why, like, hopefully we'll get to a place where maybe this isn't a good time, but for right now, this is a good time for me. But hopefully we'll figure out a good time for everybody, so that y'all can share y'all's downloads in the chat, and it can like spark more epiphanies and downloads for you guys and me. So last two. Okay. And I've already shared this on one of my videos right before, like a couple days ago. And it was that I had this incredible overtaking of energy in my body, a download that showed me that whenever, like, I am me, I have a, masculine side and I have a feminine side. And my divine counterpart, they have the same feminine, masculine. And in this vision, it was ecstasy, pure ecstasy of the amount of safety and joy. And it was so big, so expansive, the energy of not only these two people coming together, but the feminine getting to have that feminine side of that person to be best friends with. And it was like magnetic. It wasn't like it. So yes, we all know that our soulmate is magnetic to us, like a point where you can't pull them apart. That's how true unconditional love and true divine counterparts are. There's nothing that will take them apart. And so my point is that it felt like we all know that part, but this was like a deeper, where it was like the two feminines came together and it was their best friends. And they were just imagine two women who haven't seen each other in maybe decades, maybe a year, maybe lifetimes. And they finally get back together. Oh my God. I know we have all witnessed two women who have not seen each other and the shrieking and the insaneness that they go. It's just like, sometimes it's so loud because they're just like, oh my God. And I've done it myself. But the point is that we've seen that. We know that. Imagine that. That is what these two feminines are going through when they actually meet their counterpart. Same with the masculine. Two guy friends. Now, guys aren't as outwardly about it, but I know their insides are saying the same exact thing. They are like just mind blown, heart exploding, excited about their best friend, right? Someone who you can confide in, someone who's got your back. And you know that there is, it's just a more solid energy for masculine, where it's just like, whoa, like I'm planted. I have like that solidness that I can depend on with a guy friend, right? So it was that energy, and it was both of them going off at both times, and it was ecstasy. I mean, it was pure bliss, and it was so much to take in that I had to share it almost in the moment, and so there's that download. And I guess the point of it was just to remind all of us that just to add that extra level of appreciation, love, and safety and ecstasy that you have to your current relationship or a new relationship that's about to just pop into your life and change your life in a blink. Because we all deserve that type of love. And I think all of us will have it. It's just a matter of, really getting ourselves prepared to be that same counterpart to somebody else and being confident in that. And being confident in yourself that you're capable of being that for someone else. Once you're capable of doing it to yourself, then you're able to do it for someone else. So, okay. And then the last one, which was same. It was another visual download. I was struck by this overwhelming energy of seeing a bingo card. It was almost like a bingo card that was like, imagine you're in a big hall, like a big, okay, so for example, like, you know how when the United States, they vote in a presidency. Well, there's usually one of the people who are one of the candidates, they have a big hall rented out with all their supporters and all the balloons and the confetti, and they're just waiting. They're waiting to see if they get to pop them all off and just go hot like crazy, you know. But imagine that this is the vision I had. And there's a stage, and up on the behind, behind the stage for everyone to watch and see, there's like a projection up there of a bingo card. And there had already been some marked off stuff. And then I, which is going to be you, is standing there on the stage with this bingo card behind me. And all of a sudden, like, all the people are kind of like restless, and then all of a sudden they check off one of the bingo, or place the little thing on the card. And it was signifying, I couldn't read in the vision what it was, but it was more so the fact that something had been accomplished. And it was what I felt in it was that your bingo card has had some really hardcore lessons and situations and people that you've had to maneuver through and overcome. And your bingo card has had some of the hardest ones there are. And so, like, I'm almost wanting to cry right now. It was so beautiful. But this bingo card behind there had this one X that was like the last X, and it made the bingo line. And whatever that last one was the last, biggest, hardest one. And it was signifying that you did it. So whatever you've done lately or are currently doing, it is one of the hardest lessons you will have to learn on your bingo card. But it's so powerful because the point is that once the X went on the bingo card, the entire auditorium went insane. Insane. All the balloons went blowing up, all the confetti flew, all the people's, and the whole entire auditorium were your angels, were your ancestors, were your spirit team. And then some. And then it was almost like your ancestors brought in their soulmates, their closest allies up in the heavens, and said, you gotta come to this one. You gotta come with me. Come watch this. Come watch this thing happen. Like, this person just accomplished this. Come watch. There was people that weren't even in your ancestry or spirit team there to take witness to this, because it's that important. And everyone was just like, oh my God. Like, that was the sea of people just losing their mind and joy and happiness for you accomplishing that bingo, situation, or that lesson, or that person choosing you. Or it was a mindset that you overcame, because your mindsets are what drive your reality. But the point, I'm leaving it with that one because it was beautiful. It had, talk about feeling like it was all worthwhile. Even if you don't feel that here and now, which, God, I really hope you do, because you should. Anytime you overcome something major, I hope you are patting yourself on the back and you feel all of heaven patting you on your back along with it. Because they are. That's what the visualization is showing me. They are watching your bingo card going, oh my God, will she be able to do that? Will he be able to do that? I mean, seriously, that is hard. Like, I did that back in my lifetime, but things were different then. It was easier to get through it. Now, look at all the obstacles they have to go up against in this lifetime, your lifetime. And they're just sitting there, like they were on pins and needles and very restless, like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And then when you accomplish this, it's like you just, it's like you just scored one team for all of heaven, which is, heaven is a religious thing. So all of, the universe is just like, yes, and it's these yeses don't come easily. They don't. And, even just making a good choice in the one moment's time, in one situation where I'm like, okay, should I reply to this person with a lie, or should I reply to them with a truth? That is one moment. And that's a big moment. And every time you choose what is your moral compass, it just adds one point for the light and the positive energies rising up and vibrations rising up on this planet and in the whole entire universe, in my opinion. So, but okay, so all that being said, that's all the downloads. So hopefully you're still with me on this video. I don't know. But I think if it is something that you want to know about, then you'll stick around. And if you're not ready, then you're not going to stick around. So that's why I'm really not going to, be upset if no one watches it. Because I'm just like, well, it'll be out there for someone, whoever that might be. So, okay. So let's get to some cards. what was interesting is I was setting this all up because I have to switch out cameras, and I put my phone in. I had to get the camera out, and it's an ordeal. And I went to go try to, make myself in this screen okay, and I realized this blue thing was like all the way over, and I was like, it's like all this table over here and all blue here, and I was like, well, why? It's even, like it's always even. And I go to look, and no, it, like this part that comes hanging down was not even. It was not aligned, is my point. So I had to pull it over and make sure that it was aligned to my little drawer down here, which is exactly the exact amount. I thought that was interesting. So that's an alignment. Something that was offline, it's back online. So, and then I had my self-created Wild Heart Declarations Oracle that I was just kind of like, I was messing with this, and I was messing with this key, and I put it down here, and as soon as I was like touching it, like just messing with it, and then I was like, okay, and I went like this, or just the card deck opened up, and it was this card. It says, I found the key. I couldn't have planned that. It just happened. So I thought that was really interesting. I go, well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So what did we find? We found, it says, I found the key. So what did we find? Is this the oracle? Or is this the tarot card? I haven't actually planned this far out. I just wanted to see. One more time, and let me see if this is it. Feels very... Gosh, sorry, this is a process. Okay, no. Thank you. Okay. So what is it that we have found? What was the, what was the overall energy of what we have been, learning and understanding and come to find out? Our end lesson, I guess, is the point. What was the key? What was the energy of this key? And just to clarify, these readings are really honestly like, they give you confirmation for if something has already happened, to help cement you into understanding, okay, that was, it's just like seeing, it's just seeing a sign. It's seeing as a confirmation that something happened, and it was like, okay, that confirms it. But then it's also, if it hasn't already happened, then when you see this video and it maybe doesn't make any kind of sense, when it does happen in your life, you've had time to let this energy sink in and have you process it, so that when this situation happens, you're more relaxed and prepared for the energy to come into your life. To me, that is what readings do for me. It helps me, like for example, if I see in the cards that someone is about to change, come at me with a conversation that's going to make a lot of change in my life, I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm ready for that, but I've heard it, I feel it, so that means it's going to happen. So I have usually a couple days, maybe a day, maybe an hour, to let that sink in and go, okay, this is going to come. And so then when it does happen, I'm like, this is happening. I get it. Like, I know it now. And I'm not responding in a like shocked kind of way. I'm already like, oh, okay. Like, I already knew this was going to happen. So it helped me process it happening. So whenever, like, it's like someone telling you, um, you're fired. If I've had it where I see it in the cards, yeah, this is going to happen. So I'm already kind of mentally prepared, which therefore helps me feel prepared. So it's so different than if someone comes at me and says you're fired, and I've not had any clue that this was about to happen. That is like world crumbled down to the ground. Like I'm destroyed. Or if someone's gonna break up with me, like I'm destroyed, right? But if I feel like I've understood something, I've already been prepared for it, then it's a little bit more like, okay, it's not going to destroy me. Yeah, it's going to hurt like hell, but it's not going to destroy me because I've already processed it. So when I respond to that person, it's not going to be some meltdown. It's going to be a more clear, more, what am I trying to say? My response is more of how I'd like to respond rather than my emotions responding. So that is just an example of what, to me, tarot provides people, because it's provided me that. And I'm able to sit, but then again, I'm also one of those people who I like to sit with information before having to make a decision. So it helps that way too. It's like I'm not having to be on the spot. Okay, I found the key. What did we find the key on? What is the energies we found the key on? 8 of coins. What you've been working on, what you've put a lot of energy in, what you need to work on. What is it that you, what are you needing to focus on? He's putting a lot of focus in on that clock, that pentacle, time. What are you going to do with your time? And they're exactly the same time. So if they're exactly the same time, why is he having to focus so much on the exact same thing he's already looked at 7 other times? It's because he's analyzing it and seeing the, trying to like see, what I'm hearing is like, see if there's purpose in it. See if there's still purpose in this. Do I want to continue to work on this? But also knowing that you have to work on something. You have to work on yourself. You have to work on a project. You have to work on helping other people. And that doesn't have to be at every single given moment, but there are phases that you go through where you work a little bit more on this thing, and then the next day or the next week you now are working on this thing. But either way, you have to work to get achievements. And maybe time is the key here. 2 of Cups, 6 of Cups, and the Fool. Okay, I'm getting that you really, you've been working hard on understanding how within a relationship to have it be balanced and have it be reciprocal, and understanding how, when you give something, how to give it. Are you giving it to get something back? Or are you giving it to just give to that person? Give and take is so important within relationships, whether any kind of relationship. But also, you're not to give to someone expecting something back. And when you give somebody time, love, energy without expecting something in the return, it actually creates a balance for them to do the same thing. And if you find yourself where it's not happening, it's not there, if you're not having a balanced relationship where um, even just them listening to you, like for example, I mean, I just went through something with someone who I deeply cared about, and they just they just never listened to me ever. Like I honestly, I don't even know if they ever asked me a question about my life. And I thought it was the most odd thing in the entire world. And yet I know they cared for me so deeply. But they did not, they could talk about themselves all day long. But to ask me a question about my life was never a thought in their brain or heart. Like, it's surprising he even knows anything about my life, because I wasn't just willing to give it up, because I'm like, if you can't even take the time, the 2 seconds, the breath to ask me about my day, or ask me about how people who mean a lot to me are doing, or just ask me how my childhood was, or ask me how I got to where I am today. If you can't ask me any of those questions, you don't care. You don't care. So no matter what you think you're doing or saying, it doesn't matter, because you're not being reciprocal in your energy of action. So just hearing someone, listening to someone, that's a big deal. Like, at least I sense that it can be a really big deal. I mean, even with people who like you've been with forever, and you're just like, it gets old. It gets really really old when you're like, I've been telling you this for years, and it's still falling on deaf ears. It gets old, and then you just lose any interest in even wanting to discuss anything with them, or tell them that same situation. Like pick up your towel off the ground. Like if you've told someone say that 10 years, you just at some point give up on even saying it. And then you get resentful that you're still having to do something that doesn't get reciprocated in another way. So I think it's just a process of does like it's a process of breaking something down. And I think you're seeing that in some way. And it could, with the Fool card here, it could also, sometimes make you feel like a fool. Like, what did I think? How did I, like, why did I think this was okay? Why did I think that was okay for so long? I am a fool. I, I just did not, you know, I was an idiot. Like, it can lead to that energy. But also the Fool here is, it's a brand new start. So I think that this was something you've been working on, whether internally or within a relationship, is understanding how to give and take within any relationship, work relationship, home relationship, but also respecting your own boundaries and having expectations. Oh, expectations is a rough word, because you really shouldn't ever have expectations, but maybe um, what's another word for it? Well, it's just expectations in the sense of like, you know what you deserve. And if something is not coming in like how you know you should be, you deserve, then you just don't want, like, it's not attractive anymore. So I don't know. I got lost on that one. But you've been working hard on trying to figure out how this works in your life, as far as, within a relationship, whether any kind of relationship, working together and giving and taking. You know what's interesting is that when I got this wave of energy, it was exactly what I just said. But now I'm looking at this card and I'm going, that's 6 of Cups. That's not 6 of Pentacles, which is what the energy came through. So I think that's another part of it. It's like The nostalgia, which is Six of Cups, nostalgia. Yeah, that's it. How you remember it can sometimes override how it actually happened. So, nostalgia, or the longing energy that I was talking about earlier in the downloads, it can overtake the reality of how the situation actually went down, right? So, like, because sometimes I'm sitting here, even for my own life, I'm just sitting here like, is that really how they acted or responded? Or, because I think that they loved me like greatly. And then I actually sit and think about the give and take, and I'm like, no, there was no, their actions didn't show any love. I know their heart gave me something, but in, like, actuality, it wasn't there. So the nostalgia that I have that keeps me holding on to any past person has always been driven by what I emotionally felt we had between each other. That may be true. It may not be. But when you start realizing that maybe it wasn't, it actually helps loosen that grip of nostalgia. And then you can actually see the reality of it, whether good or bad, because you don't know. I mean, it could, some people, when they loosen that nostalgic energy, they actually come to realize that it was better than they had in their mind. So, but I think with this Boundless Key, that whatever you've been working on really hard, you found it. And it's done, it's over. You now know how to move for a new beginning with the Fool card. You're not, let's see, what is the end result here? I know there's something new coming. So when something new comes in, is that just another way for us to like prove that we've learned this lesson? Thank you. Three of Cups and the Lovers. Oh my God. Okay, guys, I'm just going to say we have Two of Cups, Three of Cups, the Lovers. The only other card that could come out here is the Hierophant to signify deep soul connection. Okay, but Three of Cups is celebration. It's something to be celebrated. It's an energy of coming together, like the three, which I've always talked about. The number three is so beautiful because it's the Holy Trinity. It's, Tesla's 369. It's a divine number. So, but the Three of Cups is coming together and feeling so overjoyed, and it's a time of stopping everything what you're doing and having a good time together, enjoying each other. And then we have the Lovers, which is absolutely just divine love. It's a decision too. It's a decision within a relationship, how to move forward. But it's both people, just like the Two of Cups here. We had, Two of Cups. I gotta hide this. The Two of Cups, where see, there's two people here. Oh, I don't want to show anything. And then there's over there. It's a decision between two people that they have to come together and decide together how it goes. Okay, give me more. It's a lot of cups here. So it's a lot of emotions, a lot of emotions, which is really interesting that the key is a tangible thing, whether it, well, it's not tangible. Actually, I just heard it can be a wisdom key to wisdom, or the key to life, or the key that's very abstract energy. So actually it's not. It is, the key is just something that unlocks or locks away, whether here or physically. But the eight of, we have the pentacles, and then we have a bunch of cups, and then we have two major arcana. So I guess my point here is that I think someone's really been unlocking their emotions, unlocking their soft side, unlocking their vulnerability, unlocking being able to give love, because now they know they can receive love. It sounds so cliche, but it is so hard to do, especially with all the downloads of being blocked. Things are just like, no, stay away. I've got my boundaries. And I'm being in that continuous circle, going around and around and around. When you've been in that life and in that mentality, it's hard to unlock yourself and not have a boundary. Be open, right? That's a really big deal. And that can look like, I'm getting a big energy of like, since I was talking about the Prince Valiant, it does feel like that. And I will say this is a masculine type image. So it definitely comes across as very feminine or masculine person working hard at this. And then all you have here is nothing but feminine beings. All of these are feminine beings. Even this one right here, that is a feminine being. And there's Prince Valiant, whose heart is a rock. He's a statue. Here's this feminine always coming back to something that is not moving. It's not changing. It's stuck. How do you think this feminine is really going to get anywhere when she's going back to a statue to get answers from, to share her love, to share anything to, like, or to get, it's just, and I think it's almost answers because of the sword. That's sword energy. And that's your thoughts, your communication. And there's fishies here, and fishies in the up in her hair, all up in her hair. Fishies represent in the Lenormand like an abundance of, a great amount of your finances, something that you can, tangible using, kind of things. So I really feel like maybe this feminine energy in this storyline has been keeping going to the same old energy, thinking something's going to change, and it's not. It will never, until This masculine understands how to be open and how to not be a statue anymore, but instead to be, feel like there's a brand new start available. Having the optimism to know that there is a new start and not be scared of it. Look at this fool. He almost looks scared of a new start, right? He's like, that's not very good body language to show you that it's like, I'm ready. He's like in, the fetal position almost. I think that's what this, I kind of feel like that's what this masculine energy has kind of always felt like. Like, if it's real, then they clam up like that. If they have a real shot at something and their emotions are overwhelming on them, they don't have their feminine side balanced enough to accept it, to receive. Their inner feminine is wounded, and they needed this, over and over and over again to understand how to not be so cold and open up and receive and, love. God, got the 3 of coins. I told you this 3 energy is gorgeous, but look at that. Now that masculine, it looks more young and ready to like just be more curious with how they work together with their feminine. And that can be any feminine, it doesn't even have to be their divine counterpart. Just understanding. But I also see with this card, it's always like a genie energy. Like this is a little, the genie lamp, and this is the 3 Pentacles, which is all about working together with someone. It's a working, like we are a team energy. And I really feel like now they understand how to be a team. But this was a wish of theirs, is to learn how they could actually work together with this other person. Okay. Oh my God. And then the bottom of the deck, 10 of Cups. Oh my God. Look. Happily ever after. Look at that. The underlining energy of this all is emotional completion, the highest form of love. And what we're the underlining energy, 10 of Cups. What we're not seeing, what we're not understanding, is the 10 of Pentacles. You cannot have the 10 of Pentacles, which is the dream, your absolute dream life in all forms, without the 10 of Cups. Love comes first before reality. That does not mean you can't be happy being single. That is not what this says. But if we all can agree that we do deserve our dream man or woman, our dream counterpart, if we came on this earth to, learn lessons, then I think every single one of us dreams to have someone special that only has eyes for us. And if you don't, I would love to know what your dream is then. But I'm pretty certain every human on this planet, probably at one point until their heart is broken and shattered, has always dreamed of having someone be only theirs and being someone's only. So, why I'm saying that is you cannot have the ten of pentacles, which is the epitome of everything you want. Everything you want. Whatever dream life you have, that is your 10 of pentacles in this tarot deck, right? You cannot get to the 10 of pentacles without the 10 of cups, which is absolutely being open, receptive, nurturing, giving with other human beings, whether that's one person, which I think it is in this reading and in life, or in with any relationship you have. You have to be able to be open to receiving love in order to get your dream life. So, wow. And I'm going to tell you, you found the key because you've been working hard. You've been really, really working hard on yourself and trying to get out of wherever you are. Because I really feel like, and if this isn't happen, if you haven't already done this, then you are actively doing this. And this is, but so you either take this as the future or you take that as a confirmation. But it's happening. Now, granted, free will is always available to all of us, but your free will is, I think you're using your free will in the best form possible to get you to this place. And I think for the majority of you guys, this has already happened. But we have a big collective, so I can't say that it happens for everyone. Oh, the U, and it says, don't go breaking my heart. I just did a reading on someone's, I forgot whose it was, but I just did some readings yesterday. They're on YouTube, and it was probably one of the last ones. It had on there how the crack, your heart gets cracked open, and that's how the light gets in. So so when I'm seeing this with the you and don't go breaking my heart, and then coupled with that energy I felt yesterday, it is understanding. You've been working on understanding how your heart needs to be healed and letting the light into your heart that's been cracked. And just understanding that all the disappointments and the obstacles in love, or even non-love, like, again, this is relating to any relationship. Children, parents, co-workers, best friends, acquaintances, lovers. It applies to anything. But you have been understanding how any disappointments in all those levels have really, truly broken your heart in order to let the light in and let it even be more powerful and seal, it'll be sealed back up. But with love. The glue inside the cracks are all like this love. Because we've all gotten our hearts broken. All of us have had our heart broken. Oh, see? Crumbling apart. Filthy. A potential problem. Crumbling apart. Tainted situation. So, again, maybe you're acknowledging what you've done to get yourself to this place. Because this Eight of Pentacles is going to take some serious self-reflection. What have I done? Because people can do 1,000,001 things to you, but it's all about how you responded, how you internalized it. Because someone could say something terrible. Like, people say this to me all the, like my ex, actually, or other people, like, you're just being like, you're being, I don't know. It's just, the point is that how they took what I said was nowhere near what I was saying, but it helped benefit their story and what they were telling themselves. So probably to this day, they probably still think that about what I said. That is not the truth. It was not at all what I even had said, but they twisted it to make sure that it fed their storyline that made them feel more secure in what was actually happening. So that's the flip side, is us looking at what we did and acknowledging, okay, was that how I want to move forward again? And then if I'm presented with that situation again, self-reflection, internalizing. How did you internalize something? You're going to have to look at that in order to, sometimes we can break our own hearts. Oh God, we can break our own hearts. I know I did. For an example, when I got divorced, or separated, and somewhere in there, and I tried dating, because I don't have flings. Like, it doesn't work for me. I've never been a really, like, I don't go into it looking that way, but it ends up sometimes being that way because I pick someone that doesn't feel the same way I do. But either way, in that moment when I was trying to date, I had a massive something on my shoulders that was telling me, well, what's the point in dating? You're probably just going to give up anyway, because I felt shame on myself that I had given up on my marriage. Regardless if it had reason to be given up on, take that away. I was breaking my own heart by seeing myself as a quitter, as someone who couldn't actually put in the work and couldn't actually, give it their all. That was not the story. That was not actually how it went down. I had already dealt with that energy for so long that it just became like breathing. And so when I actually was sitting there trying to like self-reflect and go, oh my God, like, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. I broke my own heart by not, having a very bad self-image of my capabilities. And I think that is also something that we all have to do at some point. Maybe sometimes we do have to look at ourselves, and even if it's just to question it. May not be true, because in my sense, no, it was not true. And finally I moved through that energy and was like, no, I gave it my all, and then depleted myself even more to a point where I was completely on, E, gas wise. I gave my all. I take that back. I broke down with no gas a couple years ago, and then somehow I just, got fumes from passerby cars that kept me going. Like, I did everything I could possibly do, but I had to feel that shame and then release it. So I had to break my own heart by thinking that I wasn't enough. Eventually, with working on yourself, you do come to the realization of either, maybe I didn't do that right. I don't like that, but I'm not going to do it again. That's a win. You move through it. Or you could go, you know what? That wasn't the storyline. That is true. That's a win. Move through the energy. But either way, there's something here that you've been working on that is really trying to get to the root of the problem. Oh yeah, baby. And then What does that do? It evens the scales. Justice. That is the justice card in the Lenormand. Everything becomes balanced when you see the negative and the positive as equal. They hold the same power. And it always keeps moving until you get to a place where you're stable. A very good exercise to see how stable you are internally is, I forgot what they call it, but it's like the boat exercise. Imagine right now you're in a lake. You may not be able to do it right now, but you're in a lake. Just visualize your entire body standing on a boat. Picture whatever boat you want. It's your boat, and you're in an ocean. You picture how the waves are in the lake or the ocean, and you're in this boat. How does that feel? Is it moving? Are the waves like, you're supposed to just be in that visualization until you get to a place where you are either standing and the boat is not moving, or you're sitting and that boat is just in a calm, the water's like glass. I hope that I explained that as well as I could. The point is that usually when you start the visualization, you're just like this. Like internally, you feel this until you start really purposely putting your energy into a stable place, and then you can be like completely still. That's the goal. So if you find yourself in a place where you're not feeling emotionally, physically stable, any of that kind of stuff, do that exercise. It is so beneficial. But that to me is justice, is understanding that when you are equal and balanced, everything is so much more peaceful. Okay. We got the letter N. So that could be someone's initial. And we got the clouds energy. And then we got the ice cream energy, which says there's more to it. I really just think that what I'm feeling from this is that, this card does say silver linings. So what is the silver lining to something? It's seeing the positive in something negative, having optimism that it is, not the doom and gloom that is the dark clouds, So just understanding that it's not black and white. Oh, and then I got the W, which could be an initial of somebody, but also when I just said it's not black and white. But also I'm hearing, oh my God, we got another 666, which is, it says balance is either needed or acquired. What did I say? I have said balance here several times. Scales are balanced. There was another card here that I had described. Well, we got the Lovers. We got Two of Cups. Those are balanced energies. There's two people there, right? And this could also, the weight of something could have been really heavy, but wow. Even though this doesn't say it, I heard it was worth it, which is exactly what I think I said somewhere else before in this thing. It reiterated back what I said. You're going to find out that all those obstacles were worth it, because it's brought you to a place that you are in a very balanced place. You're exactly where you need to be. So, okay. Do I need anything else? I think we're pretty good here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do my portal power. Please clarify what we can end this with. Thank you. We got the vision test, which is, it says 1 click between blurry and clarity. And it's almost like 1 blink, like instantly something is clear. There's more to it, right? It says, are you nearsighted or farsighted? And it says 1 or 2. And as I look up, there's 1 person and 2 likes. So thank you. Thanks for watching. So 1, 2. Are you seeing it one way or another way? And then it says, around and around we go. Where we land, nobody knows. Amusement park. And it says, wee. It's a Ferris wheel. But that goes along the line of, you know, we have to be stuck in a rut in order to see our way out. I feel a very labyrinth energy where it's like you have to see something differently in order to get through it. And then cleansing, refreshed and ready for the day. Shower thoughts. But there is a cleansing energy, especially it flew over here, and that was with the clouds, and you see the rain and the thunder and the clouds. So Mother Gaia's rain is our way of being cleansed. Everything on this earth is cleansed by her energy. And a new door is awaiting for you to open. It's stairways. This is up. Are you going up or down? This new mindset is a fresh adventure. You are, what is that saying? I just heard it was when a door shuts, you know, divine opens a window, or God opens a window, or something along those lines. Like, oh, and I love that we had this whole entire thing started with, I found the key, and it says a new door is awaiting for you to open. So you have the key to your new life already in your pocket. Do we know which door to open? Oh my God. And then we got the door. I said, do we know which door it is? Or do we know which door to open? And it says, oh my God. I think this is a massive sign that you have already found the door you want to go open, or you've already opened this door, but you are in a whole new, you know, timeline. It says, are you closed or open? And then it says secret, trap, ancient, they all need a key. Like a secret door, a trap door, ancient door, they all need a key. And then it says, come out wherever you are. When I read the come out wherever you are, it just reminded me of how we were talking about this masculine being a statue in old beliefs, old paradigms, old ideas that were either societal or, you know, inherited. But it's time for your new story on it, you know? We're in 2024. We are not doing the same crap that our ancestors did. We are not. We are young, fresh, new, innovative, creators, mavericks. We do not do the same patterns that we have always been told we're supposed to do. That time is over. So, and I really, I have a very big hope and vision for the future, which is that we, as even the boomers, even the Gen X, we're not continuing the same thing. There was something here that just made me think what I was going to say. What was that, Spirit? I don't know. I think what it was is just the fact that I really feel and sense that our all of us, a complete collective, are really moving toward marching to the same place. We're all seeing, we're all in agreement. That would be the ideal thing here. And that's what I envision for all of us, is that we all are marching towards the same goal. And that is leaving behind whatever the hell we've been going through. Like, leaving it behind. Had its purpose. We appreciated it. We needed it. But it is no longer going to be the story going forward. And I think that's what our masculine, whoops, wrong deck. No, it is good. I think that's what our masculine, what this entire reading was, not only externally, like an actual person, but also I think it's honestly what our masculine and each of us have been battling and going through and working through, is that we are not continuing this. The status quo does not work for everybody. So we're all about everybody and not a few. So we want to learn how to give and take and use what we have properly so that other people can have enough to use for them and their family, right? But anyway. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it a ton. And I hope something has resonated. Please join me again. My goal and plan is for as many Sundays as possible, to have this as our communion day, in the sense of getting together, discussing what our downloads were, and bouncing these ideas off of each other and getting feedback from the collective in the chat. And it's always going to start off very download-ish, and then it will turn into the divination. So that's what I envision as us coming together and like really helping each other, holding each other's hand and like going up the mountain. So if that sounds like fun to you and you want to be a part of that for yourself, but also for others, then let's go. So anyways, again, so much thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. And like the video so that at least, not even for me, but for YouTube, they have been hiding my lives. My last couple lives were like crickets. And I know for a fact they're going out there. It's just that they're not pushing it out there. So it would be helpful for it to, help whoever it needs to help. But if YouTube doesn't see anyone is getting an algorithm with it, then it's just going to be hidden like a trap door, right? Anyways, y'all take care. Thank you again for watching and have a great week. Bye. If I can turn this off. All right. Bye.